Hi class, thanks for watching this video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a design for laser cutting a Christmas card or a birthday card using Solidworks with pictures like a black and white image that you can sketch, similar to the example that we'll be using in this video here. I just sketched this with a black marker on a piece of paper, and you'll be able to create a design that can be laser cut. Like this example here, we're going to be laser cutting cardstock or construction paper and then layer two different colored pieces of paper together to get a design similar to this. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to be doing is getting logged onto Canvas. So on Canvas, I've made an assignment for you called Solidworks Intro Activity, and there are two templates on here. If you're going to make your template or your Christmas card open like a book from side to side, you'll be using this landscape template. If you're going to make yours open top to bottom like mine, you'll be using this portrait template. So you can click this link and you'll be downloading this template as a Solidworks part file. You can open that directly into Solidworks, or you can open Solidworks and then open that template. So here is the starting design constraints. Everybody is restricted to a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Your 8.5 by 11 construction paper or cardstock. To get started with this, you are going to be right-clicking on the surface, on the blank or flat surface of this. So I'm going to right-click, and then you'll click on the second button of the second row. This says Sketch. Once you select that, you'll be able to start sketching or drawing your design. Anytime we do anything in a CAD program that's going to be 3D shapes, even though we're cutting this out of flat paper, right? But we're going to create a 3D design here in Solidworks to begin with. We always start with a sketch. So we're going to be sketching 2D lines and text boxes and importing an image, and I'll show you how to do all of that. Your primary tools will be used up here in the top left corner. These are all of these sketch tools. You'll be able to create different shaped circles and arcs and lines. Maybe if you wanted to make a snowman, you can do that with different circles. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be probably the one thing that people want to do the most, is import a picture so that we can use that and have Solidworks trace it and create an outline that can be laser cut from a picture that we have imported. There's one step that we have to do here first, and that is to enable AutoTrace before we import this picture. So near the top left corner, when you hover over the Solidworks logo, you'll see a menu that pops up. You are going to go all the way to Tools, then all the way down to Add-ins. When you click on Add-ins, I've already enabled this before, but almost 3/4 of the way down your screen, there's this menu for Solidworks Add-ins, and you're going to make sure that the checkbox is enabled for AutoTrace. If you don't have this enabled, you will not be able to automatically trace an image with Solidworks. You can also check this box over here for enable at startup. So anytime that you open Solidworks, AutoTrace is already going to be there ready for you to use it. Check those boxes, click OK. Great. Now we will be importing a picture. So when you import a picture, here's what you could do. You could go to YouTube, you can go to Google and you can search whatever image you want and add black and white. This of course has to be something that is school appropriate, but as long as you're able to find a really clean black and white image, we'll be able to use that and have Solidworks trace it. What I mean by really clean is that it's black and it's white, there's no in between, there's no shading, there's not lots of little lines, lots of skinny writing, and there's no shadows. There's no blurriness. If you can see on your screen lots of pixels, then that picture will probably not work well for you. So I'm going to go back into Solidworks, and I will be opening this image here that I sketched earlier with a black marker on a piece of paper. It's a very simple outline. You can see that it's done by hand. It's a very simple outline of a VW Beetle. So in Solidworks, when you are in that sketch mode, we're still working in this, inside of this sketch. When you're in that sketch mode, you'll hover over here in the top left near the SolidWorks logo. You'll go to Tools, then about halfway down, Sketch Tools. Then we'll go to that next menu and go all the way down to Sketch Picture. When you select Sketch Picture, SolidWorks will open a dialog box and it will ask you to select a picture that you want to import. You can sometimes copy paste in here or drag and drop. That doesn't always work. Sometimes images get corrupted. This way will always work for you. So I will open this picture that I created on a blank piece of paper with a black marker, and we're going to see if SolidWorks is able to trace this even though it's not a computer generated picture. It's just a black and white picture that I brought in using Cam Scanner. So first I'm going to be shrinking this down until I make sure that it can fit on my paper. You don't have to worry about this blue line that pops up. It's just kind of like SolidWorks telling you what direction the picture is facing. So here's what's very important. If you have an 8.5 by 11 and you are folding it, then you know that you are only going to be creating a design that gets laser cut, or that cutout window so you can see the other color paper on one half or the other of your 8.5 by 11 template. So for me, I'm going to make this cover up about, I don't know, almost half of the way across or a little bit more on the bottom half of my card, so that when I fold this, this is front and center once it has been laser cut. So here's my picture. Once you have enabled AutoTrace in the past, there is a second little arrow that pops up here on this sketch picture menu. I'm going to zoom in so I can see this picture really well. I'm going to click on that arrow to the side. You'll see that your picture gets kind of grayed out, and you will be using this selection box to select only from what is on the inside of your image for SolidWorks to trace. So you can't start your selection on the outside. You'll notice that these little blue arrows pop up. When you see those blue arrows, that's where you can drag to create the window you want SolidWorks to trace. So I'm going to click and drag. With that click and drag, I'll let go. And the next step is back here in this menu on the left to click Begin Trace. So let's see if it's able to pick up these lines. Okay, so some of these got a little bit blurry on us. I'm not too upset by that, because what we could do is these settings over here where you have adjustments, you can slide these settings from left to right, and usually what you want is the most contrast possible and the brightest image possible, and SolidWorks will begin to kind of change those lines around to where it best fits the profile that you have brought in. So one thing I'm noticing right now already is that some of these curved lines are turning into straight jagged lines. So this is likely because I sketched this on a blank piece of paper. If you found a clean picture that's black and white and imported in here, then that would probably work much better for you. So for now, I'm going to click on the green check mark, and I have a tracing here. Before I do anything else, I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard, hitting escape. Then I will right click on this picture and suppress it. When I right click and suppress, that picture will go away, but I still have this image here. So there's a couple different things that you could do here. Now this image didn't exactly come out as I would like, so I'm going to edit it using some of our sketch tools. So I'm going to go back into this sketch that we had just worked on. Over here in your drawing tree on the left hand side, you're going to right click and then the first button in the first row, edit sketch. So once we have that, some of these lines that I didn't really like the way they turned out, I'm just going to delete them. So I can highlight that, clicking delete on my keyboard, delete, 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 delete. I think this back wheel also, I'm not very happy with it, so I'm going to delete that. Then I'm going to, here in this case, to recreate this arc, I'm going to be using this arc tool in SolidWorks, and the default is 3-point arc. That's going to work well for us now. So I'm going to start the arc first on the left hand side, And you have to remember to make sure you're keeping everything as a closed profile or closed loop. So I'm going to click once on this side of the opening, click again on the other side, and then click to where I want the center to be. And I think I'm going to have it be, I don't know, maybe about right there. I'm happy with that. Then I'm going to create some new arcs for the bottoms of the wheels. So this is just one of the many sketch tools that you can use. There's also lines in here, there's splines, there's different circles, different shapes of rectangles. I'm going to create another arc on the other side for the bottom of this other wheel. And then one thing I'm going to do is, since I can only cut, you are only able to cut complete profiles or shapes. I'm going to offset these lines to create a shape instead of just an arc. Offset. And I think I'm going to need about, I don't know, maybe 0.5 inches. No, that's way too much. 0.2 should be enough. I think we'll go even a little bit less than that. 0.1. So there's an offset. Now I have two lines there that I will be able to connect and create a closed profile. Using the line tool now, and I'm creating a closed loop profile. So now this is a shape, it is not a line. Since this is a shape, we'll be able to cut out everything that's on the inside here. The laser cutter will just zap around these lines and create that arc-shaped window. Back over here on this other wheel, we'll do the same process again. So offset, I'm going to offset these lines so there's a space in between them. Then up on the top left, I will use this line tool to connect these lines. Hitting escape, okay. Great, now we have a shape that we should be able to laser cut. Let's see if Solidworks is able to cut this out for us. So again, remember, I'm drawing here on the bottom half of my paper so that this shows up when I fold it in half. So from here, when I'm ready to cut this out from my template, you will be going over to this Features tab. It's next to the Sketch tab where we started. Features tab, and we are going to create an extruded cut. And what SolidWorks will do is every shape here that we've outlined, it is going to cut that out and create a window out of that. So extruded cut, and if you already have shapes that are complete closed loops, SolidWorks will automatically recognize those and shade them in with this mustardy yellow looking color, and that's how you know that those are the areas that are going to be cut out. I'm going to click this green check mark near the top left under the Cut Extrude menu, and then that shape will be cut from my template. So there's the outline. This would be the first set of windows of things that show up, and where you will be able to see the different color of the other layer of paper behind it. So again, one of your design constraints, as you will have seen on Canvas, is that you have to have at least one image and at least one word. So here's my one image that I have created. It's an outline of a VW Beetle that I sketched by hand. I took a picture of it. Here's this picture. It's black and white. I used Cam Scanner and I imported it into my computer via an email. That Cam Scanner was just an image. It was black and white. We did Sketch Tools and Sketch Picture to bring that in, and then we used AutoTrace to create sketch entities or lines that we were able to cut with SolidWorks. My next step will be to create some font, and I think I'm just going to write the word Volkswagen along the bottom, and we're going to extrude cut that as well so we can have that window where we can see the other color of paper behind it. So I'm currently out of a sketch mode right now. If I went over here to the Sketch tab, I will not be able to make new sketch entities or lines or text boxes without first starting a new sketch. So we will start a new sketch by clicking Sketch in the top left corner underneath the SolidWorks logo. and it's asking you now, where do you want to put this sketch? I want this sketch to be on this flat surface of the paper, so we'll just click there once. Now these sketch tools will be enabled. I will be using this text tool, and there's a couple different orders or ways that we can use this. One of the things that you are going to be doing is modifying the font to select a stencil type font. So first I'm going to write the text that I want in here, writing it in all capitals, Volkswagen. I will be highlighting that inside of this text box, and then here's an important step. You want to make sure you uncheck use document font. Once you do that, this button will become enabled for you to click where it says font. You'll click font, and we're going to go find the stencil font. Stencil font, I'm going to make this bold, and I think we're going to make these maybe 0.3 inches tall. Okay. Now here's our text up here right now, and it looks like we've lost part of the L. I don't know, it should pop up. We'll find out. So this text is automatically attaching itself to the origin. We don't really need that. There's a couple different things that you can do to put that exactly where you want. But the first thing that we could do to start placing it where we want it is to create or select this green check mark. Then you'll be able to just click and drag the text to wherever you want it. Now, I just clicked and dragged this text down here to where I wanted it, and I realized that this is not as big as I would like. I think I want this text to be at least as long as the sketch of the beetle. If you ever want to go back in and edit your sketch, all you need to do is double click, and then you'll be able to have access to the sketch text box again. You can go to font, you can change the type of the font again, and you can change the size. So I will try now 0.5 inches this time. That's much better. I think I like this size a lot more. It's about the length of the card itself. Now again, we selected sketch or stencil font because it creates these little bridges that will allow for the centers of letters like this O to show up without cutting. Otherwise, if Solidworks exports a circle and that laser cutter cuts a circle for the outside of the O and a circle for the inside of the O, that inside of the O wouldn't be connected to anything. So now that we have the text that we want, you will be now going back to the Features tab up on the top left. We'll switch over to Features, and again we'll select Extruded Cut. Once again, since we have closed loop profiles, SOLIDWORKS is recognizing, hey, this person probably wants to cut out these letters here. That's great. So we're just going to go ahead and click this green check mark, and our font will be cut out. Here we go. So here's the card, folks. So again, we drew this on half of the card so that when it folds down, we will be seeing this. Everything where there is a cutout will be a window where we can see the other color font behind it. Now here's the last step that you need to do so you can save it and send over your files to me for us to be able to laser cut these in class. You will be first going to File, Save As, and you want to save this as your card. For this example, I'm just going to call this VW card. You can put it in your folder for this class. Save. Once this is saved, there is one more step. So that saved the file onto your drive or onto your computer. We are also going to be saving this file as a DXF file format so that we can send it to the laser cutter. And we do that by right-clicking on the surface of your card. So just this blank surface, right-click. You will go about 3/4 of the way down and find this tool where it says Export to DXF/DWG. When you select that, automatically SOLIDWORKS will ask you, hey, where do you want to save this? You can save it in that same folder. And you want to make sure that the Save As type, that your file format is DXF. Click Save. And then you can click this green checkbox. green check mark. SolidWorks will then give you a black and white preview, and this is the preview. It will be exported to a DXF format so that we can open this and cut it with the laser cutter. Again, click Save, and you're ready to go. There's one last step that we will be doing, and that is that you will be emailing me your DXF. Again, DXFs only. You will be emailing these to me so that I can open everyone's file together for us to laser cut in class. So the best way to email me is on Canvas on our home page. There is a little note up on top. It says contact Mr. Robles at mrrobleseid@gmail.com. Please make sure you're sending this to my Gmail because my school account gets lots of emails and I want to make sure I don't lose anyone's files. So again, thanks for watching this video. I hope this helps you guys. Please email me if you have other questions. And the most important tip that you can take away from this video, and I want you to make sure you don't forget, is if you ever get lost, just hit pause, rewind the video a little bit. If you lose track of what you're doing, you can just start the video from the beginning again and follow through all the steps. But click that pause button, rewind it, play it again until you make sure that you're following the instructions as you need them. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in class.